Welcome to this video. Today we're going to be going over vector art, kind of the basis of flat designs, and how to make a simple fisherman design. Alright, so the first step is to open up Illustrator. We're going to create a new document, which is 1920 by 1080. We only need one artboard. That should be fine. So the first step is we are going to add our water. Actually, first let's set up a grid. So hit Command K, grids and guide. You're going to want a grid line every 120 pixels, and let's start with 4 subdivisions. We're going to be moving this, changing the subdivisions up and down depending on how much detail we want. Alright, so control and then apostrophe will get your grid up. And then you're going to want snap to grid on, and I'm just going to snap the pixel off because it's a little bit annoying sometimes. Alright, so M for rectangle, and we're just going to draw a rectangle about there. Let's move it down to here. Shift X to switch fill and stroke, and then X to switch which one you want to edit. Let's select no stroke, and then select like a kind of grayish dark blue. Alright, and then so if you click on our rectangle, you'll see these circles in the corners, and if you drag them, you can see that these are called hot corners, I believe, and basically you drag them to around the corners of a rectangle. So this is like it kind of creates the style of our design. Alright, so we got our water for now, and then let's create our boat. This is going to be 2 grids high. We're going to use the pen tool for this. So just kind of create a simple boat here. Make that like a kind of brownish color, and then we'll create a rim for our boat. Make that a little bit darker, a little bit more. Let's go and hit A to go to your direct selection tool, and I would usually bring up your hot corners here. So let's round those down, and we're gonna add some kind of wood grain to our rowboat here. So let's just draw some rectangles in, make them a little bit lighter than the one. Let's see, so we can select the base color of our rowboat with I. That's the eyedropper tool, and then we'll make it a little bit lighter. And kind of move them around, vary the sizes, and amount, just to make sure they're on different levels. Alright, something like that will probably look okay. Make this a little bit longer, fill that gap. Alright. And then we will select each of these. Hit A, so our hot corners pop up, and then round them all. So remember, to cut this piece off, I'm gonna move this. Hold Alt to drag and duplicate. I'm gonna select this. I'm gonna select our boat, and then hit Shift M for our shape builder tool. And then if we hold Alt, this will cut away the shape that is not overlapping, so that we can have our clean boat here. I don't particularly like the shape of our rowboat here, so I'm gonna move these waypoints out. And then if we select each of them, this is all with the direct selection tool, by the way. We can round them over. Alright, that's looking pretty good. I think we should add an oar so that we can have something to move our boat with. So select P for the pen tool. We're just gonna make like a simple little, I guess, oarlock shaped thing. Okay, nice gray. Turn the stroke up. You can get this panel by window, stroke. And then we're gonna turn on these two, rounded join and rounded cap, which basically makes these sharp. You can also have like a kind of octagon shaped thing, but we're just gonna keep them round for now. Turn the stroke up a little bit, a little more maybe, and then we're gonna go to object, expand, fill and stroke, and that will basically make our oarlock one solid object instead of a one line. I don't think we need it quite that big, so maybe make it a little smaller. Change the color a little bit. Okay, we're gonna make our oar now. Let's just make it a little bit darker than that. A to select those two top ones, and then use hot corners, and we'll just rotate this. Alright, and then again we're gonna use the shape builder tool, and then we're gonna just pull the oarlock all into one shape, and then reselect our gray. Alright, so that boat is looking, Alright, so we're gonna select both of these, Shift M for shape builder tool again, and then select the part which goes over the oar there, and then we're gonna remake this a nice gray. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna hit Command G or Control G to group that, and we'll just move it down and move our water to the top here. So I'm gonna call this water and boat. To make these like kind of thumbnails bigger, I'm gonna go to panel options, other. I think I'm gonna kind of about 40 pixels, maybe 50 actually, just so that I can kind of see which is in which one. Alrighty. So I did a little bit of research just because when I was thinking about this, and I wanted to kind of get some, like, I guess an idea board going. So I found some pictures. I have a fisherman, a dock, one in the boat. I liked kind of the color scheme. I liked this hat. So I'm going to open all of these and just drag them into my document here, and we can close those. We don't need those anymore. Okay, we're going to fill that up a little bit. Alright. I also got this nice picture of this guy with his overalls. So I'm gonna make a new layer, select all of our images and move them into that layer, and then put it below the other one and lock it so they can't move around. Again, control apostrophe for your grid. I think this boat is looking a little bit high in the water. I think we're gonna have a pretty big guy in here. Select the water and the boat, Shift M for shape builder, and then hold Alt and click to get rid of that. So let's add a little bit of texture to our water. I'm going to change the subdivisions again with Control K. So that will double the amount of subdivisions in each one. And then let's make kind of a small splash here for our paddle. That looks kind of good. And we'll kind of do a similar thing we did for the wood grain. Just adding some kind of random details to our water here. Let's try not to overdo it here. Pull this out. Pull it in. And let's put maybe a little bit down here. Alright, well that's looking okay. Actually, I'm not sure we need this one. It's a little bit repetitive. Alright. So that's looking good. Maybe I'll make these two a little bit lighter because they're kind of a splash. Maybe not that much. Okay. So let us start on our fisherman. I'm gonna make a new layer. And we're just gonna build on top of our boat, and then we'll put it underneath. So let's make a pretty large circle and use the arrow keys to kind of move it down, because obviously he's sitting in the boat. And then take like a nice dark red somewhere in here, maybe a little darker. And then we're going to add a head. This is with L, by the way, the circle tool. I like this guy's color scheme, so it's going to take his skin color. Alright. Something like that. And then, so we got kind of the basic shape of our guy here. Let's give him some pants. So we're gonna, there's square. So let's just make it kind of as big as our body here. Select both, Shift M for shape builder, and again we're just gonna delete that part. And then we're gonna, let's take a color from this picture. So we got our nice yellow fisherman. Overall is yellow, and we're gonna give him like a little bit darker kind of waistband for that. Hot corners. Alright, that looks good. I'm thinking this guy's gonna be kind of a gruffy looking guy, so let's give him a beard. Again, just circles. Select a nice brown. Nice dark, rich brown. Alright. And we'll just kind of use circles to make it look somewhat like a beard. Let's make this one a little bigger. Looks kind of like a beard to me. And we can give him like a little mustache here. Select that. Shift X for stroke. Blow up the stroke quite a bit. And then I'm going to move this waypoint in a little bit. And then select it, round it off. Alright, that kind of looks like a beard to me. Let's give him some eyes. Shift X again to switch it. So this guy is going to be a pretty bushy guy, so I think he's just going to have big eyebrows and not much of an eye. So that's starting to look kind of like a person to me. Let's kind of use this hat as a example, and make him a nice outdoors hat. Alright, so I'm gonna turn my grid back on here so I can make this kind of big. Sit over here on the side. Let's make a nice big square. And I'm gonna round the top two by selecting with the direct selection tool. Just a little bit. Not all the way so it's red, but just a little bit. And then let's add like a, let's see, what do these hats have? So let's make this a little bit smaller with the shape builder. And then we're gonna go that, move it, again I'm holding Alt and then just using the arrow keys to duplicate that. Move this down. I'm just kind of winging it here. Okay, let's combine these two and then hit A, round them off, select just that corner and just this corner and put them back up. Alright, select these two, let's make that round. Alright, and then they usually have this big kind of flappy thing at the top here. So let's select the first two, direct selection tool, A on the keyboard. Round that a little bit. Round these two a lot. And then we're going to duplicate this part. Move it up a little bit. And that'll be a kind of second flap. Okay, let's, oh, yeah. Let's add a stroke to this. Kind of skin tone, but a more yellow color maybe. Somewhere around 10. And then around corners, around ends. Let's just make that the same color. Again, Shift X to switch stroke and return the stroke off. And maybe I kind of want this to be red, like in that picture. Okay, let's have this, copy this, and then we'll edit the fill color, turn it darker. So maybe a little bit of texture to this top one. Alt to move them. See, this is, maybe we're out of pocket or some sort of extra flap. So wait, what do these look like? I don't know. What is it? Hunter's hat? Yeah, this kind of fluffy thing. Alright, let's add that. Alright, let's make a rectangle. Select that style. And we'll select the bottom 2 points. I'm holding Shift to deselect the other stuff. And then drag that like so. Let's round the top too a little bit. as well. Wait. Okay. Huh? Alright. Alright, let's add a pocket up here. Let's make a rectangle kind of like that. Around the top too. Maybe just a little bit. Select the bottom too. Select them. Rend it a lot. Alright. Alright, that looks kinda good. Let's add maybe a checkered pattern. Alright, like expand this layer. And turn off everything that we don't want the checkered on. So I think kind of only these three we want the checkered on. We're gonna make a bunch of red rectangles. Select them all. Make them a little bit darker. Oops. And then we're gonna copy, and then Control, which for it's Command C, Control Shift V to paste in place, and then we would just rotate them like so. And we're gonna turn the opacity or transparency down on all of them, so we get that kind of darker square where they overlap. Alright, and then we're gonna select them all, Control G for group, and then move them on top of our illustration here. I'm going to select all that, and then Shift M for shape builder. And basically, I'm just going to hold Alt and drag over anything that is not in our illustration here. Alright, so now that we have that, we're going to select everything that has a stroke, which is these two pieces, object, and then expand, fill and stroke, and that will make a group for each of them, and we're going to drag the two strokes on top of our checkered pattern. And okay, so I kind of messed up here. We're gonna select our checkered pattern and the flap. I'm just gonna combine it all into one big shape, and then select the original and drag that on top there. And then we will drag everything else up on top. Alright. That looks good to me. Let's see, we forgot to delete a tiny little piece up here. Okay. So let us put this, I'm going to Control G into that, into a group. Call it hat. And I'm going to turn the transparency down just so that I can kind of see where I'm putting it. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I'm actually just going to turn off this back one, and then I'm going to move the eyebrow up on top of the hat there. Awesome. That is looking pretty good to me. Let's add the arm. So I'm gonna make a pretty simple arm, just kind of like a bent thing, kind of similar to you know, how this guy's holding the rod. So let's take this square here, round that off, and then we're gonna select kind of a lighter. Let's see, we'll select the shirt color, make it a little bit lighter. And I'm gonna add kind of a rolled up sleeve and make that a little bit lighter as well. And we'll make his bicep coming out of here. I'm gonna select the same color as the face. And maybe we'll add some details. I don't want this to look too bland. Double click, make it a little bit darker. I'm going to turn off the arm so that I can just select these 2 points and then turn it back on. Alright. So let's make another rectangle for the other part of the arm here. A little bit shorter maybe. Actually, before I rotate it, I'm going to hit L and make a circle on the end, and then combine these 2 with the shape builder so that we can have a hand. And then I'm going to Control G, group that, move it, kind of rotate it into place for our guy. I'm just using A to select it while it's in the group, the direct selection tool. Okay, I think we are ready to move all of this third layer behind our boat. So we're just going to drag it below there, and then our guy is sitting at our boat. So that is starting to look pretty good to me. I think I'm going to rotate this a little bit more, move it up there. I'm going to hit A for the direct selection so I can move this, rotate it down that away. And then if we expand this layer back, we're going to move the arm so that it's underneath the hat and beard. So it kind of looks like the hat's over his shoulder there. Alright, that is starting to look pretty good to me. This looks kind of weird to me. I don't know what's wrong with it, but whatever, we'll roll with it. Next, we're going to make our fishing rod to kind of wrap this piece up. I'll rotate this a little bit. Okay, so we're going to hit M for our rectangle tool. Like a nice big rectangle. I'm going to choose a dark blue for the handle. And then make a circle. Select a little bit lighter blue. This is going to be the reel. And I maybe turn one a little bit tiny one inside it. Round that off. Maybe I'll make it lighter than the reel actually. Okay. And then we're going to take our line tool, which is the backslash button, and we're just going to drag it way up and add our stroke, maybe somewhere around 15, and then drag it down to our dark blue-ish. Maybe 14. Okay, Control G, group that. Move it over to our guy here, and then drag it down below the hand. We gotta make sure our line is below our reel. So if you just move the group, grab that line and pull it down. So this is starting to look pretty good. Let's add I'm gonna rotate this a little bit more. I'm gonna make this water. Select the, it's not a group. Okay, we'll just drag across here, deselect the boat, and the green if possible. And I'm gonna hold Alt and just drag out to make that a little bit wider. Go to the group here, backslash for the line tool, drag it down, and increase our stroke a little bit. Choose maybe a lighter gray for our fishing line here. And then we're gonna make a little, like a fishing lure. Select nice red. I think the top is white, but we're gonna use gray so that doesn't interfere with our background. Oops. Make sure you only have the top part selected. Select both. Move them down. Maybe rotate it a little bit. Alright. That looks pretty good. Let's add kind of a, I'm going to select everything and move it down a little bit so it's a little bit more centered. Let's select everything. Sorry, let's make a background now. And make a new layer. This is the button in the corner here next to the trash can. Create new layer. And then I'm just going to make kind of a bunch of rectangles. So then make kind of like that. Oops. This one a little bit wider. Alright, let's select all of our red ones here, merge them into one big group with the, one shape with the shape builder tool. Select it, hit A, and then drag to make our rounded corners here. And then I'm going to select to make it a kind of bluish color. Go back down to the transparency, it's a little bit lighter. And then move it underneath all of our art here. And that is just about it. We're done with our illustration. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the tutorial.